Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Firelink Podcast, episode number 43 for Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. I'm Marty Sleeve, as always, joined by Casey Wosu, Nick Calandra, and producer Eric. And have we got a show for you today? We're going to be talking about Sony shutting down Firewalk Studios, the developer of Concord. We're going to be talking about Black Ops 6, which you've all had a chance to play, and sort of where it is currently standing in single player and multiplayer. And we're also going to be talking about stuff we've been playing and watching. But most importantly, we're going to be talking about the breaking news because Nintendo Music is here. We have entered a dawning of a new age. Nintendo's big announcement has finally hit. I have it on my phone. Let me tell you, we're here. Casey, do you know about Nintendo Music?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of.
Y'all, we are here. We are ready.
What is this? Please explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old, which this is probably intended for.
Nintendo's big new reveal is that they have launched a music service. You know, like Spotify? What if Spotify only had Nintendo Music? Because that's what Nintendo Music is all about. It is an app for your phones. You can download it on iOS. You can download it on Android. I've already downloaded it on iOS.
Is this paid?
No, it is not paid. And let me tell you, the roller coaster of emotions I'm currently going through. First being, this is extremely fucking stupid. Why do I want this? Just put your songs on Spotify and Apple Music. Finally, downloaded the app, immediately crashed. And I was like, oh no, this isn't good. Started the app a second time, looking through it, and now I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. They have music by different playlists, not just games. They have individual games, and you can see every game. It's not every game yet. They're obviously going to be folding things in. There's probably like 50 games so far. You can look at them chronologically. However, they have playlists. They just have victory music. And you could just listen to a bunch of fucking victory tunes.
That's kind of interesting.
You could take any song you want and you can extend it to like 15, 30, 60 minutes to kind of create your own like study playlist of like, I just want to listen to Donkey Kong Country's Aquatic Ambiance for 60 minutes on loop.
And that's because all of the video game songs are created to loop, right?
Yeah,
so like
exactly,
that's actually kind of really fun.
And so this is not it's completely free. As far as I know, there's no monetization anywhere in here. I don't know if there will be down the road, but
right now
it is silly as hell. I don't know why the music just isn't on other things, but it is the most Nintendo shit ever, where it's like, no, we need you inside of our walled garden. And we don't want you on Apple Music or on Spotify because there may be people trying to steal your children.
Well, no, it's to be on those sites, Nintendo would have to pay, right? Like,
you don't have to. Oh, I guess part of the
like to be hosted or whatever. Like, so they might as well build their own.
You're gonna end up making you use tokens to listen to music. Just you wait.
Well, I mean, it is part of. Oh, so I guess the thing which I always forget. I always forget people.
There's a but.
People aren't the 1% like me. Is that you do need to have a Switch Online membership?
It's not free.
Oh, it's connected.
Yeah, that just comes with it. I already pay for it. Like everyone, I understand everyone complaining about YouTube ads. I just don't understand what that life is like anymore. Because as a YouTube premium boy, I just don't understand. I don't understand the problems of the common folk.
I forget videos play ads, honestly.
So do I. Very, very silly. But as someone who really likes Nintendo music, I'll futz with it for a little bit.
Just I like video game music, like period, and Nintendo being just one of the premier video game companies to make music that should just like have Grammys, in all honesty. Like there's probably no better pilot for something like this, but like they should smashify this. Like get every other video game company on board, put Capcom shit in there, put Konami shit in there.
Be like, listen, we don't have to be in the iron grip of big Spotify,
right? Yeah, like let's just have a revolution of video game music composers, and then that would be so cool. I would spend a ton of time in that app.
Really fucking funny. It is a strange little thing. Nick's actually been listening to it this entire time. How do you feel about it? Obviously, you're wearing your red Nintendo earbuds, your red Nintendo hat, yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the Nintendo logo now. I forgot. I'm sorry.
The P-wing from Mario 3.
P-wing. No.
You like video game music. You're always the one being like, my scores.
I like it on Spotify. I'm not down.
Why do you want to give money to those Swedes? I don't know what Spotify is. Scandinavian of some sort.
I will not download this app for Nintendo Music. They can put
That's because you're not on
Spotify like everybody else. No, it's not. You gotta be Nintendo Switch subscriber instead.
Yeah, but you're the same thing when I say like a game is on, like to me, Black Ops was free because I have Game Pass.
Yeah, that's why I'm playing it.
You guys don't know what free is. Nothing's
Not
free.
anymore. No, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely don't understand what free is. It's very silly. The one thing this does point to me is I think going forward, Nintendo is really gonna like lean in heavily in Nintendo Switch Online, like the online, the expansion pack, getting people in there, and I think they're gonna have a bunch of weird little things that come as like, oh, in order to use this thing, Switch Online. They should have sent everyone a Nintendo Online subscription and an Alarmo. Imagine if we all got an Alarmo.
Wasn't that a prerequisite for being able to even order it? Like you had to be an online subscriber to like put in the order?
I don't think that. Was that the case?
No?
I don't know.
Because I remember they did the same thing for like those SNES styled controllers for like the virtual console or whatever.
Yeah.
They're selling you hardware, but like you have to be a Switch Online person to order it.
Yeah, that actually might have been right. This is dumb. Everything's dumb. I like it.
I'm glad we started the show with this.
That's my ultimate. It was either start with this or start with, well, Sony fired everyone at Firewalk Studios and the sports studio, and everything's bad.
So I mean, we something whimsical again.
Yeah, we could like
the corporate whimsy of Nintendo.
we could like lead into so I like. There's not much in the Sony story. Like it's sort of the writing was on the wall for that, but yeah, in a blog post, it was revealed that Sony, after sort of taking audit of everything surrounding Concord and Firewalk Studios, they have decided to completely sunset the game, and they have closed down the studios. It's closed down the studio as well as the support studio, which I can't remember the exact name of. Wasn't Neon Koi. Yeah. So I know, Nick, you're working on an unpack that kind of tangentially touches on this, but was this a surprise to you at all?
I posted like a very quick thought on social media that I just can't wrap my head around the strategy right now of acquiring a studio for hundreds of millions of dollars, funding that game, putting it out, and then just closing the studio. Like, what? There's no second chances. Like somebody on LinkedIn this morning, I saw a post that basically talked about like if No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk or any of these other games like Rainbow Six Siege or anything that had soft launches, poor launches, whatever, would any of those games or studios exist if they had been funded and made in the last 3 years and they just went through the same thing? Like what kind of I don't get it. Like I don't get why you would buy a studio for that amount of money, because they obviously saw something in the studio, talent, something. The game, what was it? Like, and the fact that like the executives who make these decisions don't have to answer any of those questions is kind of gross. Well, it is gross, and we've been over this a million times. But like, I've been like sitting on that thought all night of like, what is the logic here? What is the logic of taking that studio and just axing it and all that talent that came with it? Because all you're going to do is 3 years down the line when things are maybe good again is go through the same thing. We need an FPS studio. Oh, this studio looks good. Let's buy them up. Oh, failed. Let's close them again. Oh, let's do this cycle again. It's ridiculous. It's infuriating to watch. And I'm not even part of the developer team. I just like, people can say whatever the fuck they want about Concord. The gameplay was good. The game was not good and didn't have the content, and like I still can't.
The bones were there.
Yeah, like everything felt good. Anybody that actually put time and played it said it feels good to play. Like there's something here, but as far as making a room for itself in the market, it just didn't offer anything unique to do that. So like, people on my last unpack were like, "Oh, you didn't talk about the character design." It's like, I don't really give a shit. Like,
yeah,
I've never heard of somebody buying a game over character designs, to be quite frank with you.
Oh, you don't know about the Goon Squad.
I mean, all right, fine. Stellar Blade is a thing, but
yeah.
And like whatchamacallit, the first Ascendant, which we previewed, KC, that live service game from Nexon.
Yeah, I played a tiny bit of that.
Yeah, like they're leaning hard into those character designs and targeting that audience. Just
yeah,
fine.
they had a new character reveal that was just all
just butt cheeks. Yeah, and that's fine. I don't care. Like you can do what you want. Like. And I'm not gonna sit here and like claim Concord had a great aesthetic, because like it just we talked about that before too. It didn't have like that unifying element. It's like, okay, it's Guardians of the Galaxy B tier, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't like command like its own identity.
Yeah, and that's the problem with a lot of these games that we're running into, because that Project Ethos just launched, which Marty had completely forgotten about when I mentioned it to him, or not launched, but revealed.
Absolutely.
I showed him it. He's like, "Oh yeah, that."
Yeah,
and like it just looks like Fortnite to me. So I don't know. I just, I'm thinking ahead now to Haven Studios, the Jade Raymond studio making Fair games, and the amount of pressure they must be under, because like this thing doesn't do what they think it's going to do. That studio's gone too, probably.
But like and again, yeah, we keep rehashing this, but part of the issue is like, what is it that these execs, I should say, think that these games are going to do? Because you could try to make an entry level one of these in this market, especially if you have like a cool hook or a new idea. But for like a fraction of the cost that they usually put in, like Concord was such a highly polished AAA thing. Like it was such a premium looking thing, but just you need just so much buy-in for something like that to be sustainable. And like because it flopped out of the gate, like they just were not willing to give it any sort of leeway, any sort of chance to like, recoup it all. They're like, well, this will never make back the amount of money we spent on it, because they're just looking at that big ass price tag upon launch, and so like they decided to just cut their losses right then and there.
Yeah, I guess. And at that point, like what makes sense doesn't really make sense. But what makes sense from the executive's point of view is they lost all faith in that studio to produce a game that would ever make that money, which is why they got rid of them. Probably. I just
like it feels less that they even have faith that there's any sort of faith in the studio involved. Yeah. Like it's such a cold and calculated number game of we paid X amount for X return, and the projection is that we won't get X return. So all of this has to now go into the scrap bin so we can take that cost and stick it over in this column. And like nothing about the potential of the studio, the talent of the team, any friendships made along the way, like none of that factors in or matters.
And
it sucks.
Yeah, it's got to make you think, like, what happens if Sony Bend, like if Bend Studio releases their next game and it doesn't perform well? Are they going to just start axing their single player studios that don't make back whatever they invested into those projects? Like,
I mean, the weird thing is, I feel like what's the last Sony single player game that hasn't eventually recouped its cost, or at least like been viewed as a success? I feel like in terms of single player games, like all of Sony's franchises now, I think over time it probably think over time it ended up selling well. And obviously there were smaller things. There was like that Concrete Genie game, like Dreams, which is more of like a
honestly Dreams is probably that game,
the little whatever that
somehow
thing was.
Media Molecule, Dreams.
Well, Media Molecule, like somehow Media Molecule has survived all this. I don't understand how. Dreams was a big investment, and that tanked hard.
Yeah.
Wasn't that whatever servers they had? Wasn't that shut down at some point, or no? Is that still going?
Yeah, no, they're sunsetting Dreams, and then they just shut down Little Big Planet 3's servers, because you have to maintain all that user generated content and watch out for trademarks and copyrights and all that, and it's probably not worth the cost anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Like when you used to think of a studio acquisition, you used to think it was to nurture and grow that studio into one of your powerhouse studios, and now it's like, nope, we bought it, you had your chance, now you're done.
I see folks bringing up Astrobot. Do we get numbers, like sales numbers? I know like it's been critically acclaimed.
Yeah, I don't think we got exact sales numbers, but I think it was like number 2 or 3 in NPD last month. So, all
right, so that's
I think it was like number 2 after like soccer or something. Just the game of soccer. So number 2 after the sport. Also feels like Astrobot's probably. I would imagine it was a it's a.
Yeah, that probably wasn't like a
75-person team over a few years. It's not like that wasn't like a $200 million game or anything.
Sure.
As far as we know, I wouldn't. I don't think anybody imagined Concord was in the hundreds of millions.
No. But I guess when you buy a studio and it's been working on a game for over half a decade. Yeah, it's really funny that it felt like we did episodes of the show, or the literally I forgot what the name of the show was, whatever it was at back of the Escapist. That we did episodes of it that were just focused on, hey, Sony's got a new game plan, and you know what it is? It's live service, because they have 117 live service games in development, and Bungie is going to have fingers in all those pies. And now it's like, well, that's not the case. We might not have any, actually.
Also get rid of Bungie.
I think they. Like what? Yeah, what do you do?
Buy itself out again? Because they bought themselves out of Xbox. I bet you're thinking, how do we buy ourselves out of Sony now?
Like, is anyone there to buy themselves out anymore? Like, they split that team in such a way. Like, I think a lot of people left already, but then whoever was left behind, they've like taken some people and put them elsewhere, and then they've left like a splinter team there. And Sony's probably going to dissolve that team, and it makes you wonder, was this the plan all along? Like, just taking out that old Halo beef?
Yeah, we couldn't make our own Halo, so we'll just kill you for it.
They finally take out Bungie, and they're like, Killzone's coming back. The Halo killer. Killzone and Haze.
I think that like the hard part of writing that script I was working on today is like talking about, the behemoths of the industry, and Valorant today in 2024, if Riot launched that today, would it find the success that it did? And I still think yes, because it's under Riot, and like, but I also don't know, like, are the behemoths, does it even matter what studio's making these live service games anymore?
Is Valorant in the League of Legends universe?
No, I think it's a separate thing.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. Yeah.
And it just came to consoles recently, so like it's still trucking along.
Yeah. Zubmer, and Zub, I'm going to go back to your original one after this topic as well. Don't worry. With the $2 dono said Firewalk, Haven, and Bungie were dead weight buys.
I don't think Bungie's a dead weight buy. Like, we'll have to see how Marathon turns out.
That's a lot of pressure on Marathon.
Which is another live service shooter.
Live service extraction shooter,
Yeah.
And everybody groaned when they heard it was an extraction game. And one of the clips I'm gonna use in the Unpacked video for next week is if you go to the Project Ethos Twitter page, their pin tweet or whatever their first tweet is shows like the marketing event that they were doing, and it's this lavish marketing event with all these influencers there, and they're all of course hyped about the game because they're there and that's what they're paid to do. And it's like, man, like, you gotta stop relying on influencers to hype these games up and use that as your target audience, because it ain't working.
What about the Dr. Disrespect game?
Well, he's not part of it anymore.
I don't think anyone's part of it anymore. Yeah. I don't like. I don't know. What was was Valorant the last like? What was the last big AAA multiplayer game that like kicked down the door and was like, "Bam, we're here"? Because stuff like Siege has been around for a long time. Destiny, Fortnite, obviously. Feels like Valorant's the last like.
Yeah, you might be right.
Maybe Apex before that. Obviously, it's not a market that I really like have my finger on the pulse of. But
no, there hasn't like been a big new. I guess I would,
doing numbers. Is that still like?
Yeah, it's doing good behind the scenes, but I mean, like Apex isn't really I would have said Titanfall, but Apex, even though Apex is set in that universe, so per se, it's not really Titanfall. It's Apex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Titanfall was ultimately a failure, right?
Yeah,
like not critically. Like,
I mean,
critically,
why they haven't gone back to it yet?
Since, there's been no shooter campaign in my mind better than Titanfall 2 since Titanfall 2.
Yeah, no, there hasn't. I don't think there really has been a big breakout new FPS franchise in a long time. It's all legacy franchises. Valorant, I guess, if they splinter Valorant off into like new projects, it could be a franchise. I don't think it's a franchise yet.
What about this? Hear me out. Switch 2 is revealed. Switch 3. Where am I?
Damn.
Switch 2 is revealed. The curtain's open. Red Steel 3. Think about it.
How about
Waggle that sword? Zombie? I love Zombie.
What do you think?
I don't.
Oh, never mind. I'm gonna just shut up.
How do you already got?
That's
How do you already got
Ubisoft related?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
That's what it is. It's great. You can say it's great. That's fine.
That's not what I was gonna say.
What, Red Steel was extremely bad, and the demo where they showed it off was literally fake.
No, I was just gonna ask to speculate
about that
on what new IP will Ubisoft have for the Switch 2, because they always do that, right?
Sure. You always give them Rabbids. It's probably gonna be the Rabbids doing something. People love the Rabbids. I love the Rabbids.
There's no way to know.
There's really no way to know. Beyond Good and Evil 2 Switch 2 exclusive.
Oh god.
Didn't they just put people on that team?
One guy in the basement of Montpellier is like, finally, I have teammates. Join me.
Oh my god.
No, the only big, that's kind of transitioning into our main topic, but the big new FPS franchises are all coming out of the independent market. Ready or not.
I love indies. I don't want an indie shooter. I know I'm weird, and that doesn't make any sense.
None
I don't
of
think
them
indies
have
know how to make I want, from my AAA shooter campaigns, I want to see every dollar on the screen. I want it to be fucking lavish. I want my AAA shooter campaigns to be like Frogwa, where I was like, you killed an innocent animal for me to be able to enjoy this, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's been my disappointment, because like big games have come out, like Ready or Not doesn't really have a single player campaign.
Yeah.
Define big when you say that. Like, what makes Ready or Not big? Like, does it have like a huge player base?
It has like 160,000 reviews on Steam, so it's sold very well.
Do those reviews equate purchases?
Oh yeah, you have to purchase the game.
You need to put some time into a game before you.
Okay. That game has been hugely successful.
My thing is, I go by a lot of my normie friends, and my normie friends don't know anything about these indie games. Like, the only indie games they play are the ones I recommend them, and then they're usually like, it was kind of dumb. I'm like, all right, not gonna recommend. But you know what the group chats are blowing up about? People love taking pictures of Bill Clinton in Black Ops 6. Let me tell you, the boys are excited to play Black Ops 6 to take pictures of Clinton. Before we move on to that topic, a couple super chats. I'm going to start with Captain President with the $10 dono. Thank you so much, Captain President. Appreciate you. My golden chicken laid a misshapen egg exactly to my specifications. I must kill it now. Execs probably. Yeah. I mean,
see, the only thing with Concord is you can't put all the blame on Sony, because Firewalk was independent making that game before Sony bought them.
Yeah.
So you can't put it all. You can put all of the nonsense of Sony closing the studio on Sony, but the game itself was in development before Sony had anything to do with it. You got to remember that for Concord. Yeah. That game was just doomed from the start, unfortunately.
But Sony allowed it to continue happening.
That's true.
Yeah. Those monsters.
That's what I mean. Like,
but they bought it for that game.
I know. That's what I mean. Like, that's why it's so weird.
So if Sony hadn't got involved, what are the chances that it would have come out? People would have given it a try, and they would have stuck with it to try and improve it, rather than immediately disappear into obscurity.
that game should have just shadow dropped. I think it might have been done better if it just dropped and people got to play it and nobody had anything to say about it before then.
Like Apex?
Yeah, like Apex.
Yeah.
But it would have had to been free to play for that to have any takeoff, and then
Sony probably had some say in that, in terms of the pricing model.
Yeah, because Sony first party exclusives can't be free to play or in subscription service. They're too good for that. Jim Ryan.
Honestly, no, this might have been an alternate timeline, because if they had stayed independent, they could have probably levied, especially if Sony liked the idea of this game. They put them in like, hey, can we get a deal to be on PlayStation Plus? Can we shop to Microsoft to get a deal to be on Xbox Game Pass? And that might have helped.
Yeah.
I mean, as the one person here that put some time into it, it still wasn't long term. It was not a unique enough game to keep itself going. There wasn't any.
Why do you think I didn't put time into it?
Because you're bad at shooters.
It didn't work when I tried to load up the beta. That's my reason.
I think most of the people that wanted to try the beta couldn't even get into it.
It just would not function. So
yeah, that's a sticky wicket. And then Zubmer with a $2 dono from the beginning. Thank you so much, Zubmer. Last week, follow up. tablet game suggestions. I made a list for you, Zoop. I didn't remember it was you who asked, but I did remember someone made a list, or someone asked, and so I made a list. Here's a bunch of games. Oh no, it's too big. The last game is Rayman. It just says Ray, but it just says Ray at the bottom, but it was Rayman. So going through these really quick. These are all games I've played on my phone or my tablet and really enjoyed. Some of them are available elsewhere, obviously. But Monument Valley, one of the greatest tablet games of all time. It's just a very nice game to touch. Device 6, Year Walk, and Sayonara Wild Hearts. I put them all together because that's all from the same developer, Simogo. Year Walk was a horror game we talked about on Monday on Windbreaker. Sayonara Wild Hearts was also a big console Switch game. Really, it's almost like a playable music video. And then Device 6 is I've said several times, it's my favorite game that no one has played. And it's like Lost meets The Prisoner meets... a game that can only exist in mobile form. Donut County is a very charming reverse Katamari where you're a hole that slowly grows. The Room are really great atmospheric. You're stuck in a room and try to figure out how to get out by solving puzzles game. Oxenfree, a really charming, well-written spooky adventure game. This Oxenfree 2 is also on there. FTL, obviously a classic, one of the first giant roguelite hits, I would say. 80 Days, great adventure game where you're doing the Jules Verne around the world in 80 days, and it's just, you could play it a bunch of times because you're like, oh, instead of going to Morocco, I'm going to go to Paris. What sort of trouble am I going to get in there? As you're trying to make your way eastward. Hitman Go and Lara Croft Go, the Go series, I think were fucking great, and like the smartest way to take established IP that Square had in like Hitman and Tomb Raider at the time, but then turn them in these like tactical, strategic, top-down board games while it kept the flavor. Especially Hitman Go is so fucking
Hitman Go
good.
was really good. I remember playing that actually.
Yeah, really, really good. What the Golf, which is a series that's continued on. I think What the Car was the one that just came out that Elise reviewed, but What the Golf is like slapstick comedy in game form. The Pathless, a game that's probably best played on consoles if I'm being honest, but that's by a bunch of former Journey devs who started a studio that made Abzu. The Pathless is my favorite bow and arrow game ever, and I love a bow and arrow game. It's also it might secretly be the best 3D Sonic game ever made. Alba Wildlife Adventure is a great photography game. I love my games where I take pictures. And then Ray is the Ubisoft Rayman Jungle Run and Rayman like Birthday Cake Run or something. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what the Rayman games were called.
Cake Run.
I feel like I remember the logo having a birthday cake. It's probably not called Rayman Birthday Cake Run, but it was really fucking good. I legitimately some of the best Rayman games.
Fiesta Run?
Fiesta Run. What is a fiesta without a birthday cake?
a not birthday party.
Not a birthday cake. So yeah, try out some of those. Don't play Suika on mobile either. I think Suika on mobile is kind of janky. I think Suika works better with an actual, unless you play it with a joystick.
You left off the most important game on that list.
My apologies. What is
Balatro?
Oh no, Balatro's for babies. These are games for adults, like Rayman Birthday Party. Although I don't want to get ahead of ourselves to what we've been playing. But you know where I am right now.
Not in a birthday suit.
Pokemon, the card game.
Oh yeah,
Pokemon TCG just released. Pokemon TCG just released on mobile.
On mobile, okay.
Yeah, and as someone who was a big Pokemon card player, only in like the first year, then I stopped playing. I'm fucking in. Let me tell you, the animations for ripping a card pack, you kind of tear a card pack at the top, and it feels really good. I'm gambling again.
That from
gambling
Siege.
Again. This all from Siege?
Yeah, Siege has the same thing.
Did Siege create opening cards?
Yeah.
Opening cards? I think they might have stole that from baseball in the 40s.
I never learned how to play proper Pokemon
this is not
TCG.
I don't even think this is proper Pokemon. It's like it's a mobile version of the game. Yeah, it's
so I didn't know, like when I was playing originally, you had to, when you were making a deck, you had to put energy cards in your deck.
Yeah.
So you had to be like, how many energy cards do I want in my deck? And obviously you need energy cards to do anything. In this, you just get one energy every turn that you can use on something. And I don't know if that's a rule that's changed at some point or not, but let me tell you,
thing for the mobile version, maybe.
Yeah, so far I'm still, there's like a lot of tutorial shit to do because it's obviously this is gonna be free to play. They're gonna nickel and dime a lot of money out of folks. But the Fat Pikachu card is what the first card I got was Fat Pikachu, and he's great, and I miss Fat Pikachu, and so I'm back in. We'll see you in 7 days if I say the same thing. It's very possible next week I'm going to be like, I am no longer in.
I kind of want to try this. Like I was just on a stream earlier, like talking about like my lack of ability to just find some sort of card game, like anything with cards in it. I bounce off of heavy, and I've had that sort of allure. Like I've seen the allure of like something like Magic the Gathering. Like I got into a little bit like the arena game, like the virtual version of it. I was trying to understand the rules, but then fell off very hard because like it's just too fantasy themed nonsense. Like just elves and wizards or whatever. Fuck that noise. But I don't know. Pokemon, I might be able to be swayed by.
Did you play Marvel Snap at all when it was?
I told this story too. I tried it. Some sort of error happened that locked me out of being able to get out of the tutorial. And the fix for it was this super weird walk around that would take like deleting accounts or recreating accounts, talking to actual customer service. And I was like, no, I'll just take that as a sign.
No, I will not do that.
If I ever come onto this podcast and say that I have purchased with real money one of those digital Pokemon card packs, please take me outside and run me over with a bus because I stopped.
Pay money for Marvel Snap?
Marvel Snap's a different thing. Leave me alone on that.
Why is it a different thing?
Nope. Because fuck off. If I collect,
I want to hear this.
I stopped collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards and all that growing up because it's like I am buying pieces of paper with a picture on it. Now, if I buy a card pack, I don't even get anything. I don't even get the paper. It's just a digital print.
I mean, it's no dumber of a hobby than games. You're buying a bunch of fucking data.
No.
But you're sending data on the internet. Buying data.
If I buy the physical cards, I at least can look at them. I can't. The digital.
They don't buy anything. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, my appeal to this
run me over with a bus.
Free. Like it starts free.
Yeah.
Folks are calling me out because I like Zelda and I play D&D. I don't play D&D because it's in a fantasy setting, one. And Legend of Zelda is an exception to that rule because it's like the least fantasy setting you can probably get.
Yeah, no, I'm here with you. I'm relatively, I would say I'm fantasy agnostic. Like it doesn't do anything for me. It's not like a plus or a minus. Yeah, it doesn't. If you're like it's a fantasy setting, I'm like, all right, just go on to the next.
Like in most cases, I tolerate it. Yeah. But by default, I am fantasy against.
Yeah. Unless you have a dungeon and things are delicious inside.
Fantasy adverse.
I'm all there.
Yeah, cook the monsters, I'm in.
Cook the monsters or get a cool dude chanting like in Metaphor ReFantasio. Just get a man just chanting his heart out in the middle of a battle.
I feel like you would be a very, very big fan of Chronicles of Narnia.
Who?
Oh, it's a bunch of Jesus stories. And then Jesus came back and he was a lion named Aslan. I don't need that.
I keep forgetting they're making a Greta
Gerwig?
Gerwig, yeah, she's making that new Narnia movie.
A new one? Yeah, I don't give a shit about Narnia.
Wait, go through a fucking closet and you end up in Narnia? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Fucking British people go wild.
We tried that in your closet, Marty.
Do I think that's a doorway to Narnia?
Yeah.
I think it would send me to some version of hell, and I don't want to go to hell. Okay, let's talk about our main topic. Let's talk about little Blopsy. I've played. I think I'm like halfway through the single player campaign. I know Nick, you played some of the campaign, I believe, as well, and then I think both of you played multiplayer. We'll start with the multiplayer before we go to single player because single player will kind of bounce us up. I guess I've already just all I wanted to say about shooter campaigns is I just want them back. I want them back and I want them to be expensive. But yeah, you guys have had some time to play the multiplayer. What do you think about this iteration of COD?
I really like Black Ops 6 multiplayer. I do think the big discussion online right now is like, and it's with every Call of Duty, to be fair, it's like the maps suck, the maps are good, the maps suck, and it's like I'm in between where I'm like, this is definitely the first Call of Duty since 2019 that I've actually like really enjoyed the multiplayer from. Like I don't think I put more than a few hours really into Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Vanguard, Cold War either. I didn't put much time in any of those multiplayers. But the main thing for Call of Duty for me, and like I'm probably gonna get some flack for it, but I think they should get rid of like the super fast sprint because the maps are just not designed for it. Because you have your just normal run, then you have a sprint, and then you have the like full on sprint. and it just makes everything. Yeah.
How do you do that? I haven't learned about a super sprint.
You double click the sprint button. That's when you run with your gun up.
I had no idea.
Okay, well, you're probably wondering why everybody's moving so fast then.
I could not see any difference between the speeds of.
Yeah,
but okay, I'm gonna give that a shot.
I guess there's normal movement, sprint, and then your extra sprint or whatever it is. But yeah, I like. There's just Call of Duty's become such a fast-paced shooter. It's hard to keep up with in my advanced age of 29. The sliding, the diving, the new Omni movement system is really cool. I really like it. I think that's something that's going to be in every first-person game going forward because moving side to side and running backwards, just looking forward and running backwards still is like it's just a game changer. Like it's kind of hard to describe in like podcast format for you to get a sense of like how game changing it is, but when you actually have the game in your hands and you're playing it, I think Casey and Marty too, you'd probably agree. Like this is probably the future of movement systems.
Like it honestly felt to me like this. Like why did it take so long for us to get here? Like it just seems sensical in a way that video games just didn't have the language to express before. But it's like, why can't I just move at full speed in any direction?
Mm-hmm.
Like why just because I'm moving backwards am I going like half as fast as if I'm sprinting forward? Like just let me move, right? And like it took me a while to like really come to terms with the fact that like, oh yeah, if I just click the stick in, I can sprint in any direction. Like wherever the stick is, if I click it, then I just start sprinting. And like it feels really, really good, especially in a first person game where movement is everything. Like I've been having a lot of fun in multiplayer. Like I played like a bunch of matches with my friend Jeff. And like it's like you can see from what Eric is showing on screen right now, like it's just chaotic nonsense all the time. Like stuff is always exploding, bullets are flying everywhere, people are sliding across doorways, jumping out of windows. Like it feels like those Super Bowl commercials where like whatever that series was, where like it was like Action Town USA or something. Mm-hmm. Like it's so over the top. Like your kill streaks can be like remote missiles or like helicopters that come down. So like I got in a situation where like someone was sniping me constantly, like across a map. So I used my remote missile to just fly straight to where his sniper point was and detonated on him. And it was super satisfying. Like it's just really dumb and really fun.
Those giant missiles lead to such funny moments.
It's so goofy. It's so goofy.
You'll like half the time I'll see somebody like trying to dive bomb out a window and there's just a missile comes smack done. I love it. This is the first Call of Duty in quite a while. I'm almost at like prestige level already. Like that's just such a really good time.
Jeez,
with multiplayer.
Yeah, it's just stupid fun. Like I'm having a great time.
When Call of Duty hits, it hits.
And this is again, nothing means anything, but they said this is the best performing Call of Duty ever.
Would not be 24 hours.
The combination of Game Pass and I think it getting good reviews and I remember at least for like Black Ops 3 and 4, Black Ops the brand was almost bigger than Call of Duty the brand. Like the name Black Ops like meant something more than Call of Duty means. Have you guys had a chance to play zombies at all, or do you care about playing zombies at all?
I don't care about zombies.
I want to play it because I keep like people have been raving about it, so I'm excited to jump in. I haven't had time yet, and as far as the campaign goes, I've only played the first 2 missions. Just haven't had time.
Yeah, like not got to photograph Bill Clinton yet.
No,
I'm expecting that's going to be the most bombastic mission of the campaign.
You're almost there.
Oh man,
let me tell you.
You mean out of the 4-hour campaign, I'm almost there.
I think it's like the third or fourth level.
Activision doesn't like need Bill Clinton's permission, right? Like he's enough of a public figure that they can just put him in a game, right?
Yeah, and he's not saying anything. He's like on a stage, and you can see him. And when you like highlight him, it's like Governor Bill Clinton because it's like a campaign rally. But the rest of the level's sick because it's actually like a CIA fucking like a blacklist site where you got to go like underground, and they're holding a fucking prisoner of war down there. It's great. Clinton doesn't know anything that's going on.
Clinton didn't even know.
He's upstairs eating burgers and cheating on his wife. Classic.
He didn't do that yet. He was still governor. Okay,
that's definitely didn't cheat on his wife as governor. But the campaign,
you got no proof. You cannot slander that man.
as someone who again says I want big high budget short AAA campaigns, this game is delivering exactly that, and it is insane that every level feels like it was made by different people. Literally every level just feels like they're like, just do whatever you want. Like, just don't do a regular Call of Duty level though, but make it weird. So like, there's just like, I think the second level, it just feels like a little mini Dishonored map, where it's this like little open world European city, and you got to sneak through it and get to the top of a bell tower to assassinate a dude. Like, how you get there is up to you. How you leave is up to you. Feels very open ended. I've heard rumblings that there's some levels that feel like horror levels later on, which I'm excited about that. But I think it's cool, and I want a big dumb first person shooter campaign, and I want it every 6 months. It doesn't have to be from Call of Duty. I just want someone to make a big dumb one every 6 months.
That's the annoying part of like all these live service games that have gotten canceled. Is like, I probably would have played a single player campaign of Concord. The sci-fi is at least the world and sci-fi aesthetic was cool. You know, I don't know anything about the characters, but cutscenes don't get me excited. Like Hyenas as an extraction game, like put me in a cool ass heist campaign where I have to do different heists on every mission.
Yeah,
you know, how are you spending hundreds of millions of dollars on these multiplayer games when, you know, the independent developers are doing it for not even tens of millions?
They're not doing the campaigns though.
No, they're not. Well, that's the thing, is they're spending hundreds of millions on just purely multiplayer experiences somehow.
Sure. Yeah, that end up having a much longer tail than a 5 hour. The reason we don't get those anymore is because they're not economical to make a 5 hour thing that people are only going to play once.
Yeah.
And B, they stopped selling super well.
Well, it could be economical if you don't over budget it.
No, you gotta go. You gotta spend more money.
You gotta
one place where
every explosion is an extra $10 million.
You gotta keep spending money. You gotta get that Bill Clinton license in there.
Yeah, FPS games were like all I played growing up, but recently, like pretty much any FPS game, at least outside of AAA, that has a campaign has been like boomer shooter campaigns, and I just mind boomer shooters, but also like I just haven't really found that many that hit for me like Doom does, or that I get really invested in. Like I'm
excited for Doom 3 next year.
Yeah, pretty much like what you said though, is like I want like good like action Hollywood cinematic single player campaigns every once in a while, like Call of Duty delivers.
Yeah. I was really late to the party. I didn't mind Immortals of Avium.
Like, I never finished it.
It wasn't great.
It's a good time.
That's what I want. If we were getting one of those every 6 months and that was one of our 6 monthers, I'd be fine. Like, I think it was a good time.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Definitely, wasn't perfect, but it was like a first outing from a brand new IP. Like, those things are going to be a little on the light side. Like, the second one probably would have been nuts.
I think the second one would have been great, but you don't get a second one anymore because when your first one costs $100 million and doesn't sell,
it's $100 million again. Like, where is that money going? How are these campaigns like that costing $100 million?
So they got to pay Darren Barnett, and
it's $99 million. I don't know. Like, what is there? Literally a big trip? Well, I guess so. We're getting. I mean, I guess ironically, in the next 2 months, we're getting 2 first-person AAA campaigns. Very different than what I'm talking about, though. In Stalker 2, and then Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones previews came out, and I'm very excited because it sounds like it is very much not a shooter.
Yeah, people seem to be into it,
and it feels very much like a Hitman game with like a deep Indiana Jones story and a bunch of puzzles. And you get to punch a bunch of Nazis, and that sounds delightful to me.
Great. I could really use that right about now.
Yeah.
Ravnos in the chat brought up the point earlier that like people weren't buying those campaigns or like first person shooter campaigns because like they were a dime a dozen in the Xbox 360 era. Like we got them all the time, but on the flip side, they weren't very good. The difference in quality was like there's Call of Duty and then there's Legendary.
Yeah,
and like we got so oversaturated with them. Like now's the time I think to bring them back because we're so oversaturated with hero shooters all the time. Like how people are super excited for that Overwatch 2 campaign. and then they just canned it.
And they just didn't do it.
Yeah, like you've been making all these cool heroes and stuff, and just not doing anything with the hero shooters. Like that Project Ethos, like you announce a hero shooter, or Concord even, you announce a hero shooter, like who fucking cares? Like they're characters. I don't know who these characters are. I don't give a shit. I don't get to spend any time with them in the game. You want me to care about them through cutscenes? Like no. I care about Ghost in Modern Warfare 2, for example. It says basically jack shit. Cool character, does cool things in the campaign that you get to see and connect with, and now he's like the face of Modern Warfare franchise. Didn't do anything. Literally said nothing.
The same man's on all those covers.
Pretty much.
I like played this Black Ops. I've played literally all the Call of Duty campaigns, and in Black Ops, I'm sure the dude in a wheelchair is someone I've played as before. I just don't know who he is.
He's in every Call of Duty campaign.
No,
every Black Ops campaign.
He's the Black Ops, guy, right? Like,
he's definitely white.
When they say Black Ops,
he's definitely white.
When they say Black Ops, they're talking about that guy. Wood, yeah, single.
He didn't know he's have a wheelchair, did he?
No. I think we played as that character, right? Or was he just in the games?
There's no way to know. There's really no way to know.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
That's the thing. Is I want these to be the same as summer blockbusters, where I watch them and I just forget afterwards. I watch Twisters. I love Twisters. I don't remember anything about Twisters, and that's fine. If you make another Twisters in a few years, I'll be back. That's fine. But it is funny when you look at, in the aughts, in the teens, we had developers like Bungie was making, obviously multiplayer, but also like meaty single player shooter campaigns. Insomniac was doing that, and Guerrilla was doing it. And now those studios aren't doing those kinds of games anymore. Valve was doing it. Now Valve's not doing any games. But we just don't have, they've moved on to things that are clearly more lucrative, because I'm sure Spider-Man has outsold the Resistance trilogy by several times. I'm sure Horizon outsold the Killzone trilogy by several times.
But I don't know. I don't feel like Spider-Man counts, because that's Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, you can put Spider-Man on a paper box and it would sell.
It doesn't count as what? Well, what if you put Madam Web on a box?
That's not. Is that Spider-Man, or is that Madam Web?
Put Null, Eater of Worlds, on a box. I don't like Null. I'm gonna be honest. Null was the big bad in the latest Venom.
That new Venom.
I don't like Null.
Scott watches in chat says, so do FPS RPGs like Cyberpunk or Immersive Sims count, or are these guys talking about just the big action adventure linear campaigns?
I'm just talking about big action.
Yeah. That's just
there's plenty of first person
thing.
games.
I feel like.
Yeah, and let me, and that's not me discounting any of those games. I do like Dishonored, and I really liked Deathloop the other year. And if I wasn't scared of RPGs made by Westerners, I'd probably like Cyberpunk. But yeah, I'm just mostly talking about the thing they used to be a dime a dozen, but they're not anymore.
Yeah, it's mainly if you want that kind of stuff, you really do gotta look at the indie sector. Like the new trend right now is like trying to do the Half-Life likes, because we've seen a lot of those. The Nazis tried a couple of them now. So I guess maybe we're going through we went through the retro stage with boomer shooters, and as those start to not sell, then we're gonna go through the Half-Life stage and then the Call of Duty stage.
Yeah,
we'll end up back here.
Yeah, there is one game, Eric. If you're on my Twitter, I just shared it. The guys that made that what's it called? Hong Kong Massacre. I think Marty, you mentioned that to me before.
Oh, that top down,
the one that kind of looked like.
Well, the one that John Wick 4, the one that John Wick 4 took inspiration from.
I hated that they were like, we took inspiration from Hong Kong. I'm like, that's just Hotline Miami. Like, you gotta say it's Hotline Miami.
Yeah. But they're working on some really cool looking new first person shooter. And then we did get a Trepang 2. Dev Heads talked about that. That was a pretty bombastic, fear-like single player campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's got an exponent in its title, though.
Exponent, yeah, that's true.
It's Trepang squared, and I'm like, what are we doing here? If I can't type this normally,
there's also not a one. Like it starts there.
Well, the original Trepang was a mod, I think.
Does a mod's not a game release, right?
Yeah. It depends on who you.
Where does game conception start?
Insurgency came.
Where does life start in a game? Conception at mod. Yeah, I don't know. We didn't fix the problem, but we'll probably get some cool games coming up. Or we won't. Whatever, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I still think. I mean, like, well, Battlefield, they're working on single player for that.
Yeah,
Battlefield.
Remember the last time we tried that?
The last time they tried that was Battlefield Hardline. They didn't do a campaign for 2042.
Not 2042.
They did like campaign missions for Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, and people liked them.
I like the Battlefield.
No, there was one that starred Michael K. Brown, and that was like them trying a campaign for the first time.
Well, Battlefield 3 and 4 both had Call of Duty-ish campaigns.
Maybe it was 4.
Yeah.
Or was it 3? I just remember it being really bad. Like
it's probably 4 because 3 was okay. I want Bad Company back. I'm so sad that.
I also forgot we're getting Blade. Is that going to count? There's vampires.
I mean, he uses a sword, but he does also use guns.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He also doesn't appreciate fools who try to ice skate uphill.
I mean, who does?
Yeah, exactly.
But also, that's like an Arcane joint. That's going to be more Dishonored than, big dumb first-person shooter, right? So
we'll see. Dishonored has
I mean, that's the other Arcane.
No, but remember Redfall? Do you guys remember Redfall?
Yeah,
I forgot about it until this moment.
We do remember Redfall.
FPS campaigns that neither of you probably played through are the Metro franchise.
No, I've never played a Metro. No,
oh, those are damn good FPS. Wow, this is exactly what you want.
Well, aren't those
the
like
first
RPGs?
two?
Those are like dumb single player things.
No, the first two are like basically Call of Duty-ish campaigns, and then Exodus has slightly more open areas, almost.
So, why was everybody getting all bent out of shape about bullets as currency or whatever was going on in that game?
Because there is bullets as currency, but it's not like RPG. It's to give it a little bit of the survival aspect.
Yeah, get that out. No, we don't want that.
No, it's good. It's immersive as shit.
I'm saying that's a different beast.
I want that's a different beast. God doesn't need to be immersive.
They're Metro 2033 and Last Light are just straight up linear action campaigns, and you use the bullets to upgrade your weapons. Bullets are a currency. And either use them to kill things.
Money.
You can use them to kill things or upgrade your weapons.
All right.
I'm just going to
use them to kill things. Yeah, I'm just going to use them. We'll put it on easy.
After you finish Metroid Prime, you were playing the Metro series.
No, I don't think we're going to do that.
Hey, what are we talking about?
No.
Let's talk about what we've been playing.
Thought. Going to be a no.
Yeah, we gave it some thought. We took it to the high console, and ultimately it was no because we've already agreed to play all of Kingdom Hearts.
Fuck.
Shit, no, I'd rather play Metro.
Simple and clean, a Kingdom Hearts series lasting 15 years with Marty and Casey. Before we go to what we've been playing and watching, Fat Cock, $2 dono. Thank you so much, Fat Cock. I got diddied. Someone grabbed me as a meat shield. Jesus Christ. Fat Cock, don't make me talk about Diddy in Super Chats.
With your name being Fat Cock at the same time.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What we've been playing.
Whew.
You know what? I've been playing a couple things. I'm just gonna start because we gotta fucking get through this. We don't have time for lollygagging, dilly dallying, any of that. I'm playing 3 things I want to talk about. Well, obviously Call of Duty, but 3 other things. Super Mario Party Jamboree, the new Mario Party game. I've still only played it against CPU, so it's the loneliest party there ever is. However, I'm gonna go out on a limb. Incredible Mario Party game. The levels, excellent. The mini games so far, almost unanimously, have been great and really interesting little wrinkles. Like there's these partners that you can roll over on like the board. You can cross a partner and a partner joins you. So you got like Yoshi joining you and everything is doubled, but the good things are doubled and the bad things are doubled. So it's like, hell yeah, you landed on a blue square. You got 2 times the coins. Hell yeah, you passed the star. You could buy 2 of them if you got the money. But it's like, oh no, you landed on Bowser. He's gonna fuck you up twice. So I like the risk reward thing. The games are great. The levels I've played so far have been great. It's not saying a lot. I think it's the best Mario Party game on Switch, which one of the Mario Party games on Switch is bad and the other one's pretty good. But yeah, big fan of it.
A 1 in 3 chance of being good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But
there are 3 Mario Party games on this one console. Do they release Mario Parties that often? Usually, like within the same console lifespan?
Yeah, there was 3 on N64. I think there was 3 on GameCube.
Damn.
2 on Wii, 1 on
no mandate to have 3 on every console.
Yeah, they just fart these
not on
out,
Wii
huh?
U. Not on Wii U. Don't worry.
Oh well.
The other new game I've been playing is the most recent Shinchan game, Shinchan Shiro in the Coal Town. This is Shinchan's like a popular little Japanese. He's like Japanese Dennis the Menace. However, the
Or
last
like The Simpsons, really.
yeah, where he's like a little 5-year-old, but he's like a little shit, just like Bart. Or Bart's a little shit. But the last two Shinchan games have pretty much been like games in the Millennium Kitchen, the Boku no Netsuyasume series. So those are like the life, like My Summer Vacation, where you're a kid on summer vacation and you spend the summer. You run outside in the morning and you go catch bugs and you go find weird little acorns and you're going helping folks out. And it's like very peaceful, calm, serene, like small slice of life that doesn't last super long, but like a great little thing to spend time on for like an hour a day to make it actually feel like one of those, like when you would check in Animal Crossing every morning back when people were playing it.
Was that a good fit for the Shin-Chan universe? Like, because that seems kind of incongruous with that show's energy.
Yeah, because like the Boku formula is normally like very serene. It's like, oh, these like gorgeous pre-rendered backgrounds and like you could hear the cicadas and everything, and it really feels like sort of that dreamlike taking a grasp at like what childhood was like. Whereas Shinchan is just like he's like a little shit. And so it is kind of funny to have him like exist in this world where you're doing all these serene things but also being a little shit. However, this game has Coal Town. Let me tell you, Coal Town's pretty much where little shits go. And so it's like there's this like second town that's almost like Pleasure Island from Pinocchio, where like the kids like smoke cigars and turn into donkeys and everything. I haven't put a ton of time into it, but I've been, again, as a like 20 minutes a night. I play like 1 or 2 days inside the game. Really enjoying it. This is like one of those formulas that give me infinite money shooter campaigns and a little fucking rascal enjoying his summer. And those are the 2 games I want every 6 months. Give me one of those. And then the last game I've been playing, which I'm probably actually going to write about next week for my written column, which I put up a written column earlier this week on the Patreon. This first one's available to everyone, but the next couple are just going to be for the $5 tier and above. I've been playing through Metroid Fusion as a sort of playing Metroid Prime with you, Casey, has got me. I played this one at launch, which it launched, I believe, simultaneously with Metroid Prime in 2002. This is the GBA game. This is it was originally called Metroid 4 because it was just the 4th main Metroid game. And it's a very strange game in that it simultaneously feels like an upgrade from Super Metroid because of small movement and control things. Like Samus is now able to grab onto ledges and pull herself up. And that's just like a small things that makes navigating the world that much better. However, the setting of the game is just this research station, which to me feels like it does not contain the same sort of I hate sense of place that like Super Metroid has, like Planet Zebes, and even like the planet on Metroid Prime. I think feels like such this cool, like lived in, like, oh, you can sense like the history and flora and fauna of everything. So I don't like the setting as much. And then the game is very handholdy. Like, instead of just being this big sprawling interconnected open world, it's like you have a hub and then 6 elevators that you could take from the hub. And so you'll do something and then your AI on board, like your computer commander, will be like, oh, now we have to go to zone 6 so that we can take care of this problem. And that sort of stuff, I think, is kind of, I don't know, just kind of flies in the face of that exploration, that Metroidvania, get lost and then try to find out where you are. It
sounds like an era where maybe they were trying to make the Metroid series more mass appealy, right? Like they were spending a bunch of money to put a big shiny one on console. So let's also just get people familiar with it, even on our popular handheld system, and let's make sure that that's a smooth and easy transition.
Maybe. I think you might have hit the nail on the head there. But enjoying it so far. Really great little horror elements where there's this like sort of weird living organism you're trying to find, and the organism can copy other things, and this organism copied Samus at her full power, and then you obviously get depowered, and so you'll hit certain areas where it's like, oh shit, like the evil Samus that is fully powered is here, and all you could do is run. Which, again, if you played Metroid Dread, it kind of feels a little bit like that, where you like enter certain areas and you're like, I gotta get the fuck out of here because this thing's gonna mess me up. So I like those moments. It's good stuff. Thumbs up. That's all I played. Video games.
Nice.
I have been still playing Metaphor Fantasio.
I'm very proud of you.
10 hours in the desert on some weird contraption taking me around. Joyride.
That's your ship. That's your ship, dog. It's a big old chicken. Big old chicken walker.
Very interesting thing. Definitely still loving the combat system. I think I gotta stop playing it late at night before I go to bed, because I start getting into dialogue and it's like reading a book and I just start passing out.
Yeah, that game. Like I also started Metaphor.
Uh-oh.
It'd be putting me to sleep, man.
Did you at least make it to the first dungeon?
I don't know what counts as the first dungeon. I feel like I've played like maybe 3 hours. I know I'm not very far in.
I think you've done
You'll know. Yeah,
you'll know when it's like, here's your goal. You have 2 weeks left. Go fucking infiltrate the castle.
Okay, I'm like right outside of like some mine. They're like, hey, go check out this mine. That's where I'm at.
I definitely like the characters in this. I mean, like I've kind of said before, I'm just much bigger into fantasy over the Persona setting, so I'm definitely enjoying the characters of this, and definitely the environments are more interesting. I've never been to Tokyo, sorry, Marty, but whenever I go, then I'll
Don't apologize to me. I'm from fucking Wisconsin.
You always just say how you love playing Persona because it feels like you're going back to Tokyo.
I do love Tokyo. I love Tokyo.
Just gonna let you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. There's like 10 slacks came in that I'm needing answered right now. So just keep talking.
Yeah. So I've definitely planned on sticking with it. I think kind of like I can't remember what game it was, Marty. You told me to play just in like a chapter, like Star Wars Outlaws. Play like a mission or two a night. Play like a chapter.
It almost like episodically. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely how I'm treating this. So Casey, if you are falling asleep like that, I would recommend like
taking it piecemeal.
Yeah, get there like a story beat, like a cliffhanger, like you're treating like a TV episode, and then put it down for the night because it can.
Practically is because they do a lot of talking, and I know you guys were saying that this is a lot less talking than like Persona, which I guess that's a good thing. But from my perspective, as someone who does not really mess with JRPGs, it still feels like a lot of downtime in between games. But like it is early, right? So like that's probably more than usual after like the gameplay loop like really picks up. But I gotta say, like I've been going through all the tutorial stuff. Like I get the gist of how the combat functions, like how you engage enemies and like how they want you to kind of like get your squad to like attack as a unit and like work off of each other. Mm-hmm. None of that is interesting to me yet. Mm-hmm. And like the thing that's supposed to be the big draw so far is, the style, the setting, and the story. And that as well has not hooked me yet. Like I don't care about their mission. I don't care about, the kingdom that's in peril. Like I don't feel like it's doing enough to draw me in with all of the exposition that they are dumping early on.
I think Marty will probably agree with this. I think you have to get past the first dungeon before you really get invested in the story.
And that's fair. Like I know these things take some time, and like I am still early on, and I want to feel what the hell Metaphor Fantasia was doing for everybody else. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep chipping away at it, and hopefully that turns around.
Yep.
I do love the music though. God damn, that's a banger of a battle song.
Yep. Other than that, I'm still working my way through Silent Hill 2. I haven't made any progress since I talked about it last week. And then
you're not still making your way through what?
I guess not. Not this past week. I've been too stuck in Call of Duty. I keep saying I don't have time for anything, but I've just been playing Call of Duty multiplayer all week. So, it is what it is. But I'm stressing out though because Dragon Age comes out on Friday, and I'm damn excited for that game now. So, I need to find time for stuff. But I did sit down and binge got caught up all the way up on The Penguin last night. Which damn, that's a good show. They're really, really good.
Yeah,
it's still very tonally different than the Batman. Very dark, very gritty. I love it for that. I'm just very curious how the upcoming movie is going to go that PG-13 rating, because this show's very much rated R.
I don't think a Batman movie needs to be R. I think you can do a lot of things in PG-13, but like I don't know.
All the animated series don't need R ratings.
He could go to the red light district, and you just don't need to see like full frontal nudity.
Yeah,
in the Penguin you see it, and that's fine, whatever.
But, well, I'm more.
Penguin doesn't body shame.
I'm more just thinking from not even aesthetic thing, but like just the dialogue of the show is so. I feel like it's so different than the movie. Very HBO-ish. Lots of cursing all the time.
Yeah.
Curse word like every other sentence.
That's how you get those awards.
I guess.
Awards. You know everything.
Just a weird thing. Like it's just something I keep thinking about as I'm watching it. I was like, man, like it makes me really excited for where the second Batman movie might go. Just because like this is exactly what I like from superheroes, getting like really dark and gritty kind of superhero takes on things. Which
You know who you'll love? Zack Snyder. He made a whole moon full of rebels.
ugh, I can't do it.
I know.
Did see that teaser for Daredevil today though, and that looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Oh yeah, Marvel dropped a bunch of teasers actually for a bunch of cool looking stuff. They've got like a new animated Spider-Man show on the way. There's a new animated like show based in Wakanda, like in the Black Panther universe as well, like Eyes of Wakanda. I don't know what the hell that's about, but I am interested.
Yeah, they said it's like almost an anthology where every episode is like a different, like a Wakandan black op somewhere in the world to retrieve an artifact or something. Like maybe it's like literally like trying to get artifacts back that were like stolen by colonizers or something.
Right.
Cool. I do want to shout out to oh man, I'm terrible with actors and actresses names. The actress
Jennifer
playing...
Love Hewitt from I Know What You Did Last Summer too.
No, the actress playing Sophia from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah, Christina Milioti.
Yeah, god damn, she's good in this role.
She's great. Yeah,
I haven't seen. I know she's been in a lot of things. I just haven't seen her in a lot of those things because I really only know her from How I Met Your Mother. So seeing her pop up in The Penguin, I was like, holy shit.
She's phenomenal in the Andy Samberg movie Palm Springs, the sort of Groundhog Day movie that came out a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, it was good.
That makes sense. The Groundhog Day.
Yeah. A little Groundhog Day goof.
Not intentional.
Casey, you've been playing anything? Watch anything?
Yeah, pretty much just chipping away a little bit of Metaphor, which I talked about already. But I did get to watch a bunch of stuff. Funnily enough, I watched these both back to back, and they were both related to each other in unrelated ways. And I think they speak to each other in a really cool way too. Like I watched first, I watched the American Society of Magical Negroes. Like this is a movie starring Justice Smith and David Allen Greer, and it's essentially it takes the trope of the magical Negro in like movies. If you've not heard of this trope, Dave Chappelle does a amazing skit about it. It's essentially like Will Smith in The Legend of Bagger Vance or Michael Clark Duncan in The Green Mile, where it's like some black character is like a sidekick to some white character and sort of inexplicably has weird mystical powers to help the white character out over the course of the movie. Yeah. And it's just a very odd but consistent trope throughout like cinema. And this pokes fun at that by saying like, oh, that's a real thing. And those Negroes are magical. And there's a whole society around it. And this is the reason why this has to happen. And like the undercurrent is actually like a pretty interesting message about kind of just the black experience in America. How like just generally speaking, like a lot of black people have to measure their comfortableness and their safety against white people's comfortableness and safety. Mm-hmm. And so it's a commentary on that aspect. But I feel like near the end, the plot or the message that they're going for kind of falls apart because they tie everything to a bit of a love story. Like the girl that the main character who is doing this new job now, he has a crush on, but the white guy he has to help also has a crush, and that's his ask, is that he wants the girl who he also has a crush on. So it's like, oh, do I sacrifice my wants in order to make this person comfortable for the safety of me and all black people everywhere? Or do I reject this and basically say like, no, this is wrong? The answer is obvious, right, from the beginning. But like the movie takes the entirety of his runtime to kind of get there. And then when it ends, I feel like that conversation doesn't go anywhere anymore. Like they just kind of yell at you like, hey, this is wrong. We never should have been doing this in the first place. Yeah. But they don't interrogate that in like a meaningful way. So it feels very shallow by the conclusion. But I think it was a good attempt. Like I want to see more stuff like this that kind of plays with just the role of like Black people in media, like because it's really just talking about, hey, this is stuff that Black people deal with when it comes to entertainment, right? And funnily enough, that's literally what happened in the next movie that I watched right after, American Fiction, which stars Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, yeah.
And the premise for that is Jeffrey Wright is like a super intelligent, affluent Black author. Like he's like working at an accredited university or whatever. And his books are like, real hoity-toity and stuff. And so publishers kind of aren't buying. And so he's PO'd because the stuff that's selling is sort of like this kind of trashy Black gangster fiction and stuff like that. So out of a spite, he writes a really terrible Black trashy gang story thing.
Yeah.
And then everyone wants to buy the book. Like he's getting movie deals, he's getting all this stuff, but he wrote it under a pseudonym and he's trying to pretend now that he's this sort of ex-con who wrote this story about his upbringing, but he's doing it through gritted teeth because he's so like he feels he's so much better than the level he's had to drop to start seeing the success. And so like this movie is a commentary on how long held complaint that Black people are only ever seen in like a couple of lights when it comes to stories that are told about them, either slavery stories, hood dramas, stuff like that. And essentially his whole problem is like, why are these the things that people want to see? Why are these the things that sell? Like, I would rather just do something that has nothing to do with that. And those are stories he writes. But the movie itself is a story that doesn't do any of that. Like, it's literally about his life as a writer, his family at large. Like, he's going through like a lot of like struggles with like his siblings and his late father. He has like a girlfriend drama that's going on. So all that's happening in the background. It's a super interesting, super poignant family drama. But then the story within his book is like this nonsense that he's rebelling against and sort of coming to terms with the success of that story and like his connection to it. And like it does a whole lot to interrogate kind of just Black stories in general. Like what counts as a good Black story? Like should a story like this have any merit like in people's minds and whatnot? And why is this the sort of stuff that people gravitate to? Like they give kind of well-reasoned not excuses, but well-reasoned excuses, I guess, for why kind of both things can exist in some level. And it takes like a real meta approach to its ending. Like it doesn't tell you at the end, like, hey, this is the right answer. Like they kind of give you options in like a real fun way. And so like, this nailed what it was trying to do in terms of like interrogating a Black trope throughout cinema in the way that the first movie, Magical Society, didn't. And so just seeing them back to back, like that close, is really like had me pitting them against each other like a really interesting way. Like I would encourage doing this as a double feature if you're gonna like watch either of these movies, because like I really enjoyed both of them. It's just one kind of missed its mark, whereas the other one hit it fantastically. Like American Fiction, I think it won an Oscar.
It won best adapted screenplay. And that was like the great speech by the writer director is the guy Cord Jefferson, who like he wrote at Gawker for a long time before becoming like a screenwriter. And then he's written on like his resumes, and he wrote on The Good Place and Masters of None and HBO's Watchmen.
Love all those shows.
Yeah, like seriously. And he gave a great speech at the Oscars where he was like, hey, instead of wasting $200 million on a superhero movie that everyone's going to hate, make 100 $2 million movies. Like give people like me $2 million to make a movie that can win you an Oscar instead of making these $200 million fucking disasters.
It's a better bet. Like
Sterling K. Brown was great in it too.
Yeah, everyone was great in it. Like Tracy Ellis Ross is in it. Maxine from Living Single, I can't remember the actress name, but they're all in it. They're all great. The way that movie drops exposition is probably like the best way I've seen exposition done in general in like a really long time. Like, or maybe I've just been watching really shitty stuff for like a long stretch because it's like, okay, here's all the backstory you need to know, and now we're moving. Yeah. Whereas like over the course of the movie, like you learn so much about the characters in such natural ways and dialogue. Like I was really just enraptured the whole time watching it. So that's probably the best thing I've seen this year. And I just really liked it.
It reminds me of a movie I brought up, I think all the way back on Breakout. I don't know if you ever got around to watching it, Casey, but The Harder They Fall.
Yeah, I did watch that.
Yeah,
Great Western. Yeah.
Such like a different, unique take on a Western.
Yeah, that movie was great. I love that.
Like, it literally like intermixes Black culture with the Western, and it's wild.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah. So we gotta go back. I want to rewatch it at some point.
I feel like I read something he was tied to. Oh, he did that Book of Clarence last year. Same guy who did Harder They Fall did the Book of Clarence.
I did not know that. Book of Clarence is really good. I feel like I talked about that earlier.
There was something else. He's attached to something now, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, good ass movies. Anything else?
I finally went back to Attack on Titan because I forgot that I've never finished it because of how long they took to like go back and wrap up the season.
Final season part.
I never finished the first season. I started watching it. Forgot.
So I was pretty lost when I went back. Got to be honest. Like I watched one episode and then had to go back a couple more episodes to like try and reacclimate myself. But I'm in the thick of it now. Like I'm back on like that curve of the final arc, and man, that's a really good show. Like it's still, I don't know if the ending was disappointing. I don't remember how people felt about it, but like the way you follow that main character and his motivations, and then you get to where he is, where I'm at, like how his convictions have led him to the decisions he's made. It's like, yo, he is wrong, but I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, I see where you're coming from, friend.
Yeah.
Like just
I need to get back to watching that.
It's a really, really good way. And like I don't mean to trivialize anything that happens in the real world, but like it's a good microcosm to sort of tell you how these like long-lasting feuds and conflicts can happen. And how like by the end of it, like after years and years and years of conflict, it's like nobody here is a good guy anymore. Like there's no righteousness to what's happening. Like it's just conflict, and at some point folks need to have to decide to just stop.
And I think it did such a good job, especially near the end, of being like, well, now we're going to put you in the point of view of the quote unquote enemy.
Yeah.
And like, what is that going to feel like? How do they feel about the characters you've grown to love? Yeah.
And they did it in real short order too, to like really make you understand them and connect with them and realize like, oh, there's a whole other side to this. Like,
yeah. But the, Aaron Yeager is like a fascinating character. Like it is great to where he started, where he ends. And like, especially when you get like, without going into exact detail, when you kind of figure out everything that was going, there's that one episode, I think it's like From You 2000 years ago. Where you kind of
just watched that. Yeah,
it's like a bunch of puzzle pieces fall into place, and you're like, "Oh shit, this was like really impressive." Pretty good stuff. Yeah, I know people were kind of underwhelmed by the ending. I think a big thing like that, it's just like I don't know how you land that, and so I give. I think
some people just need to grow up. Like, I feel like that sort of stuff happens often, where it's like the end of a show like this. Like the characters will literally start as children, and then by the end they're adults. So like the solutions to their problems as children grow. Like you can't win the day by just beating the bad guy. Yeah. Which is what you thought when you were a kid. When you're an adult, it's way more complicated than
this
that.
Is like the solution, a societal rot that no one person or a group of like plucky kids with good ambitions can ever fix.
Right. So like that's always going to feel less like triumphant, I guess, whatever the resolution ends up being.
Say about that.
Who has to say something about that?
I said Game of Thrones has something to say about that.
Yeah. Listen, we can all agree Bran the Broken. Best story. Easy peasy. That's why I also give slack to the end of Game of Thrones, because like, what ends well? Like, it's very hard to do.
I mean, that could have ended better. I'll say that.
I'll agree with you there. Yeah. It'd have to be that.
Sorry to open that wound for you, chat.
Last couple super chats before we wrap up. Fat Cock just wanted to give $50. There was no Diddy in this message. Just a little like a Pac-Man man kicking something, and it said super effective. I don't know how any of those things work, but I loved it. Thank you so much, Fat Cock. And Sussy Guru, the 5-year dono. Thank you so much. Now I want an Oruchuban Ichibu game.
What?
To be honest, Sussy Guru, I don't know who this man is. Oh, he's a little hamster. I know this hamster. I thought he had
where is this hamster?
I've seen this hamster. He's great. He's a little menace too. I like characters who are little menaces.
Nick, I think you'd really like Shin-Chan. Like that show is kind of tailor-made for like your sensibility, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, look at this little. Look at this little.
I don't know what
this
that
is. Shinchan. This is
infantile sense of humor.
This is the thing I don't know. This is Oruchuban Ibichu.
He's just twerking.
Yeah, that's your sense of humor.
Yeah.
And with that twerking hamster, that does it for us today for this episode of Firelink, episode number 43. Before we wrap up, Casey, what do you got going on? Where should folks check you out?
Find me all over the internet at Signal Gears 9, Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, all those places. I should be back with Marty tomorrow doing some more not Metal Gear, sorry.
Oh, damn, what? My Metal Gear.
Doing some more Metroid. Also, me and the fiance should. Oh, actually, no. I think we're going to a wedding or something this weekend. So probably no wedding.
You should probably know if you're going to a wedding.
I should probably
you gotta go get your suit.
I should probably know. But yeah, we may not be. I'll let you guys know. Just follow the Twitter, and you'll have all the information you could ever need. I had a Mech Warrior 5 review go up earlier in the week, thanks to Eric, who helped me get that edit out. And did it drop already? Darren's horror movie thing?
Tomorrow.
Short? Okay. Halloween, you should be able to look forward to a bunch of movie recommendations from Darren that I helped put out. So check that out as well.
Yeah, we got the shorts channel, but then we also have sort of original shorts are going up on the main channel. Through the link here, Darren wrote some. I've written a couple on just like really quick hit. Here's a cool upcoming game that you should add to your wish list kind of thing. So check those out. And yeah, we'll be doing Metroid tomorrow, normal time, and Resi 7 tomorrow, world time. What about you, Nick?
I'm working on my next unpack script for next week, so you'll have that on Tuesday, and then I believe tomorrow, since the DevHead stream got canceled because Tina's out sick, I will probably be picking up some people to play that Don't Scream
not at that time,
game.
because that time is Resident Evil 7.
It'll be 3 to 5 tomorrow. Don't Scream, which I will probably scream a lot, and you restart every time you scream. So
there you go.
Or whimper, or
you restart every time you scream.
Yeah, or whimper or moan or anything.
I moan so much.
Listen, guys, let's try not to moan on stream, please.
I can't get 5 minutes into a game without moaning.
Yeah, when I get jump scares, I go, oh yeah.
How long is this game? Is it a short game?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it other than it looks scary as shit.
Right? Trying to scream.
It's just a jump scare simulator, and you know how well I handle that. Maybe I'll get Yahtzee on so you can jump with me.
You know what? Just don't scream. Have you ever thought about that? You haven't thought about that enough. Just not screaming.
Give it a try.
About that?
That's true. I have a very screamy voice.
You're very screamy.
Oh,
and
I also forgot to mention. Sorry, the Battle Masters.
Yeah,
dropped earlier this week.
I was just gonna say.
You hear me scream a lot in that.
Yeah,
Nick does a lot of whimpering, a lot of moaning.
Amnesia the Bunker, a lot of moaning in that. You'd have had to restart a lot. A lot of discussion, a lot of hot, heated debate over the rules. Ultimately, I think the takeaway is don't worry about the rules.
And just there is a dog there, true Mandalorian.
This is real.
Yeah, if you want to hear me scream, for some reason we under a tornado watch the day before Halloween in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's crazy thunderstorms right now. My power flicked out from thunderstorms.
What the fuck?
Fine.
I didn't realize we're still in the summer.
The globe is definitely not warming. Excellent. And then obviously the last thing, if you are a member of the Phoenix tier Patreon, you might know that we'll be doing our monthly movie watch along a half hour from now. So for those folks, we'll see you back here, not here, but we'll see you in half an hour. And for everyone else, thank you so much for listening and watching. Definitely words that are spoken in English by people who speak. Thank you for Firelink episode number 43. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Casey. And thank you, Eric. This was Marty. Thank you all so much. Everyone watching live, everyone listening on your podcast service of choice. We appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your night. And if we don't see you tomorrow, have a great Halloween to everyone who celebrates.
Bye. See you later.
Bye.